Hi guys, it's John back here again with a model final reveal video. Today it's the turn of the Italeri 1/72 scale Heinkel HE-111-H6. I decided to do this kit in the 1941 Norwegian based variant, where the aircraft was based in Norway to attack the northern convoys and some of the bases in some of the towns, during the Blitz, the latter stages of the Blitz anyway, where the aircraft were flown across the North Sea in the dark at night time to attack northeastern and Midland cities. The aircraft itself went together relatively easily. There were no serious fit issues with the airframe, although there is one serious fit issue with this kit, which can be quite easily rectified with a little bit of heads-up knowledge prior to putting the interior into the aircraft and the forward birdcage canopy into place. Inside the aircraft, I don't know if you can see, I'm hoping to be able to bring this into focus a little bit for you, but inside the airframe, inside the interior of this kit, I don't know if you can see it very easily, but you've got two crew members. You've got one pilot on the port side, which is, as you're looking at the video, the right hand side of the airframe, and the forward gunner is actually lying on a hammock style fitting on the inside of the canopy there, and he's lying down with posable arms, and it all goes together really easily until you get to the point where you want to put the glazing onto this kit, and that's where you find that forward gunner's position actually needs to be slanted more to the middle. It's almost as if you have to angle the hammock support for the gunner's crew member over towards the port side of the airframe inside the aircraft, because if you don't, when you put the glazing on, especially this section of the glazing here, when you put this section of the glazing in place, you will need to jig it in place, because that forward gunner's position actually pushes the canopy over to the starboard side of the airframe, making the fit on this side it's an absolute abortion. So you have to jig it all into place while it sticks in place, and I only found this out when I was actually putting the canopy in place. But a lot of people, there's one particular subber who's actually building a conversion of the Italeri kit into a Spanish Casa C211. And with this heads-up knowledge, I'm hoping that I can save you a lot of headaches, James, because if you push the forward gunner's position over more towards the pilot position, so that the actual front of that hammock is pointing towards the aperture of the glazing, so it's more towards the middle, if you know what I mean, you'll find that glazing will go into place sweet as a nut. The actual fit on this kit is fantastic. The detail on this kit is actually quite good. There were some constructive criticism from professional reviewers that stated that the underside of this aircraft's wing root here, I don't know if you can see the wing root there, was actually a step. Well, when this aircraft went together, I didn't see a step in that wing root whatsoever underneath, but I did have a serious issue with one of the oil coolers. If you have a look at the oil cooler, I'll just turn this propeller around so you can see it better. If you have a look, this oil cooler on this side was fine. This oil cooler on this side was actually blocked up. It had so much flash in it. I don't actually think it was flash. I actually think it was a malfunction in the moulding, because the actual aperture of the oil cooler, or the radiator cooler, or whatever it is, was actually filled up with plastic, like it was moulded that way, and I had to cut it out, quite extensively cut it out before I could put the engine nacelles into place. Also, one of my subbers is having problems, he was saying in one of my comments, is having problems finding the colours for the Battle of Britain film version of the Heinkel HE-111. Well, the reason why I've chosen the colours for this particular one is I've seen a picture of an HE-111-H6 on a mission over Britain, and it was taken from another Heinkel, and I experimented quite a few times with the two different colour greens, and I think this is pretty close to what I actually saw on that colour image. It was taken from another Heinkel from the squadron's bombing attack, and the aircraft was preparing itself for the bombing run, and it was viewed from this sort of angle. It was viewed from that sort of angle from another aircraft, and the colours I've chosen for this kit are actually matte 30, which is the greenier of the two colours, and the other colour is a semi-matte. It's a silk finish colour, which is often used for American military vehicles. I'm not quite sure what the colour number is, but it's basically green, black, olive in the Humbrol range. I can't remember what the colours are, but I'll post the colours that I used on this particular model in the comments when I upload the video. So also I had an issue with the decals, because the decals on this kit started to shine quite a lot, and I got round this problem. They shouldn't have shone at all, because they should have gone on to that semi-matte colour quite nicely without any sheen whatsoever, but they started to mist up quite a lot in the back end film. Obviously the kit was, I mean, it is quite old. The kit was about 30 years old, I think. And these decals just did not want to go on clear. So what I had to do is I had to get my two colour greens and just paint the sheen out. And I think you'll agree with me, I mean, if I bring that up pretty close, I think you'll agree with me that it seems to have worked quite well. There were no other issues with shine on any of the other decals on this kit. As you can see, the underside decals went on really nicely, and that's just basic matte M25, which is the Luftwaffe sky blue. The framework on this kit, especially the gondola windows, the gunner's framing position there, fore and aft on the lower gondola, and the actual framing of the mid-upper gunner's position, and the actual cockpit itself are, I'm not going to lie, they are an absolute nightmare to paint. It's very rewarding when it goes on, and it looks nice, but it did take me quite a while to get them right. I didn't make any mistakes when I was laying the paint on with the brush, but I used my standard method by using the blade shaped brush, putting the paint on nice and thin when the parts aren't on the aircraft. You leave them on the sprue, and if there are any mistakes, you clean it up with a cocktail stick, and I think you'll find that, you know, it didn't go on that bad, did it? It looks quite nice. I have actually quite a lot of praise for the Italeri kit. I've built the Airfix HE-111-H20, which is the Russian front version with the turret and the mid-upper position, and that kit's airframe isn't that bad. It's not as detailed and as good in, you know, the actual build response that you get from this kit. It's not as detailed as this kit, but the airframe itself is quite accurate. The only issue I have with the Airfix kit is it has a terrible canopy build method, where the bird cage canopy, the actual whole front of the greenhouse canopy, is assembled in two halves, and it just looks dreadful, you know. And my advice would be to super glue those two parts together, and hope you don't get an issue with the line when you're finished gluing them together. So that's the Italeri HE-111-H6. The kit is quite strongly representative of a Battle of Britain variant. I did fancy doing a Battle of Britain variant, because this kit can be, you know, with the right decals you could probably build a Battle of Britain variant quite easily. But one of the things that's interesting about this particular variant is that there was two squadrons based in Norway which were used to attack the northeastern coast during the Battle of Britain. I think they were used on August 27th, I think was the date. I'm pretty sure it's August 27th, 1940, and they were very heavily mauled by RAF Fighter Command, who obviously saw them coming across the North Sea without any fighter protection. And not many of them got back to base, certainly not many of them intact. Quite a lot of them were shot down on that mission, and this particular squadron was one of the squadrons used for that attack. But this particular aircraft was used in the North Sea Convoys campaign against the North Sea Convoys going to Murmansk. So there, that's the Italeri kit, final reveal. I hope the video's been of some use. And don't forget, I'll post the colours used on this kit's camo pattern in the comments underneath. So I'll see you for the next video. May all your projects go as smooth, and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye for now.